Today we're checking out the Grotte Spring Reverb from Anasounds and Third Man Hardware. Good afternoon. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. If you're new here, hi, I'm Miles. I do music stuff. And today we're checking out a pretty unique collaboration on a reverb pedal from both Anasounds and Third Man Hardware called the Grotte. I failed French years ago, so that's the best you're getting out of me. Now let me just get this out of the way right at the beginning of the video. If you like what I'm doing here, be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button. It's free. It helps the channel grow, and it makes these videos more visible to more people. You'd be doing me a great service. So years ago, I used to work the door at a bar in my hometown, and at that bar, they'd have bands that would come out and play on the weekends, and on a particular Sunday, this young band called Regret the Hour came out and played a set. And they were like super young. Like the singer who also played guitar, he was about the size of his guitar. Like it was a little insane. But one of the things that stuck out to me of their set was that their lead guitar player was using a whole bunch of reverb on his guitar throughout all the songs that they played. And it produced this like real wash textural sound of his guitar that at the time, to say the least, I didn't get. You could say that I was being a dumb metalhead, or I just wasn't willing to expand my horizons as far as sonic textures that were available for the guitar. But either way, at the time, the idea of reverb on my guitar just didn't make any sense. However, since then I've gotten into artists like Katie Pruitt, John Mayer, the band Loathe, and other bands that use reverb in a manner that they're able to make these soundscapes and these like big textural washes with the guitars and instrumentation in their songs. And so gradually my mind started to change when it came to reverb. And so over the years I've had my hands on a couple different reverb pedals of different varieties, but I found for me personally what I really gravitate towards is a really drippy spring reverb. And so when I'm doing my usual browsing of a site like reverb.com, I'm always low-key on the hunt for a spring reverb in a box pedal. Something that like really captures the attributes of, say, like an old Fender amp with a spring reverb tank in it, but in pedal form. And this is where the company Anasounds comes into the picture. Initially, I became aware of Anasounds through their other reverb pedal called the Element, which is a standalone pedal that you can attach individual spring tanks to that vary in terms of their size to get different reverb responses from your guitar or whatever instrument you're using with it. And it's a cool concept. I like the idea of being able to interchange different reverb tanks to get different sounds from the pedal itself. But in terms of putting that on a pedal board, it's not the most conducive thing to have two separate devices that are doing one singular thing. But this is where Jack White comes into the picture. He and members of his team over at Third Man Hardware reached out to Anasounds about doing a collaboration on a reverb pedal built off of the concept of the Element, but in a singular enclosure with actual springs being incorporated. Along with that, incorporating some other additional features to make it more pedal board friendly, but also friendly to your wallet considering what you're getting with the pedal itself. And the end result of that collaboration is Grotte. Like I said before, my French is trash, so if you're already bothered by my pronunciation, I'm sorry. It gets worse from here. Grotte, French for the cave, is a collaboration between Anasounds and Third Man Hardware in pursuit of building a reverb pedal with springs inside that is not only durable, but also great sounding. And they went through a lot to land on the end result of this pedal, including a 2-band EQ that adjusts the tonality of the reverb itself, as well as individual level controls for both dry and wet. Along with that, the visual presentation of this pedal is really something impressive. The paint job is cool, you get to see the springs inside the enclosure itself, but along with that, on the underside of here, there's LEDs that illuminate the springs when there's input signal that impacts the pedal. And from the first time I turned this thing on, I was immediately hooked on it because I was just like, this is really cool. This is awesome. It made for a really awesome first experience using this pedal, and just the overall sound from it made it very hard for me to stop playing guitar with this pedal on. And there's many more features to talk about with this pedal that we'll get into later in the video, but for now, let's hear how it sounds. Hi everyone, Editor Miles here. I realized that I totally forgot that in the process of making this review for this pedal, I had a discussion with a friend of mine about this pedal and referred to it as creating a sound soup, which inspired me to make a new design for a merch item. And that's available now. So you should go and get it, like right now. There's a link down below. Go get it, okay? Bye! It's worth noting that I did two separate demos of the pedal, one where it's going through the front of the amplifier, and then another where it's going through the effects loop. But, enough talk, let's check it out. Here we go. So what's doing what? Got it. Okay. So that's the wet. Got it. Right. So, just for the sake of curiosity. Wow. Okay. That gets meaty. Okay. that up. So that's giving me like a significant boost. That's without any overdrive whatsoever. So we don't really need that. Now with it all the way up. Okay. And for the record, that was Kraftwerk, not Coldplay. Absolutely never, ever would I do something from Coldplay. For the record. It's a rare occurrence where I come across a piece of gear that on first interaction with it, I come away from that experience feeling inspired and motivated to want to create something with it. I say it's rare because in this day and age, we have almost everything that we could ever want at our fingertips at all times, whether it be a plugin that has a plethora of different effects built into it, or a floor processor of some sort that has different amps, different effects, anything that you could possibly want built into that at your feet. However, when I got to playing around with the Grotte, I found myself going over musical passages that I've already have established in songs and thinking about how it would sound in relation to those, but then also thinking about how this would sound in relation to other pedals that I have and running them in conjunction with each other. Simply put, this pedal brought out potential ideas from my mind, which is a good thing. There's also additional features that come along with Grotte that are in the form of hidden internal switches and screw adjustments within the interior of the pedal. For example, you have a screw adjustment to adjust the level of input gain on the pedal itself. From the factory, it comes out set to 2.5, but you can set that to 0 or you can crank it up all the way to 10. And as you heard in the demos that I was doing with the pedal, already when you engage this pedal and you really dig in on what you're playing, it brings about a bit of gain and overdrive to what it is that you're playing. Like, it's got some grit to it already. So if you put it up to 10, it's basically an overdrive pedal with a reverb attached to it. Do I recommend you put it up to 10? I mean, that's up to you. Your mileage may vary. But a really useful feature they incorporated into this pedal is the fade-in feature, which basically allows you to have this on a pedal board, and if you're stomping away at stuff on your board, you don't have to worry about there being any extra noise coming from this pedal when you turn it on. The fade controls on the pedal are really useful because if you've ever been one that's bumped into an amp that has a spring reverb tank in it, you know that there's a response that comes from the amp that comes through the speaker. And either you want that sound or that sound's going to catch you by surprise. But yeah, having a way to control that with this pedal that would otherwise be on a pedal board that you're stomping around on, it's really useful so that you don't turn it on and hear the sound of shattered glass. Along with that, there is a control to adjust the amount of fade-in time attached to the actual fade-in function itself. You also have a control to adjust the input level overall, so if you're not using a guitar but rather a keyboard like a Rhodes or something like that, and you want to compensate for there being a lower input level going into the pedal, they thought of that. And you also have a control to switch from true bypass to trails, which just means that after you turn off the pedal, you'll still hear the reverb decaying away. It won't just abruptly shut off. Something worth noting, however, is going to be the placement of this pedal in relation to other pedals on your board. So the way that I was running it for the demos, I had an overdrive and distortion that was going at the front of my signal chain, and then the reverb following after in the pseudo-traditional way that you would run a reverb time-based effect. However, what I found was as soon as I engaged the distortion, it was getting fed directly into the reverb, which made it go absolutely insane. Just feedback city, which maybe you want that. Maybe you want to have a battle between that feedback and what you're playing on the guitar and kind of like playing around with sustaining notes and having a feedback and stuff like that. Or maybe you want some more clarity from your signal. And maybe if you're looking to get your hands on this pedal, you don't have a distortion in your signal chain, but you have an overdrive or you have a very unruly fuzz pedal. There's still potential for this to be the outcome in those scenarios, so, you know, keep it in mind. Am I saying that this is a bad thing? No, not at all. But also, I'm kind of a low-key sound menace, so like, take my word and do with it what you will. But with all that said, my experience with Grotte has been a great one. I really enjoy this pedal. I wish that it wasn't so big, but I understand why it's so big. Because I want to put it on my pedal board, it's just a matter of finding space for it. And I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out eventually. I think that Anasounds and Third Man Hardware really hit it out of the park with this collaboration. And it's really no surprise, this isn't the first Third Man Hardware collaboration I've had on the channel. And I've been really impressed by this one. So, if you're in the market for a spring reverb pedal with springs in it, I'd highly recommend checking this one out. But with all that said, that's all I got for you guys for today. I hope you found today's video to be interesting and informative. And if you liked it and you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. It's still free. I'm just saying. And if you like what I'm doing here and you want to support further than just liking and subscribing, I'll leave a link down below in the description for my Patreon page where you can check out the perks that will be attached to your support over there. Big shout out to all my patrons that help make these videos possible. I really appreciate you all. You make this process in making these videos much easier. And with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys for today. Thank you for your time. Hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe. Keep playing. Peace.